How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Jose, aka TheNYCGeek, aka TNG, aka the guy who got a chance to see the Batman last night. It was packed. But it dawned on me yesterday and this morning as I was writing things up that Jesus Christ, obviously I wasn't alive to see the 1966 first feature-length film or the even older Columbia film serials, but I was alive for the 1989 release of Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. It made me feel a little old, just a little bit. And it's crazy to think that this is the Batman's 13th live action movie, not counting the cameos in that awful Suicide Squad movie. But anyway, it just goes to show the enduring popularity of this character. No matter how many times they have bungled his portrayal in cinema or even in his own comics, especially currently, there's no keeping down the Dark Knight. No keeping him down. Which leads us to this. The Batman, because there's a "the" in front of it. However, unlike that super trash movie, The Suicide Squad, it works when you put "the" in front of Batman. It makes him feel more like a force of nature or a phenom. You know, you could go with Batman or you could go with the Batman, but it works with that character, especially in this story because this takes place with a much younger Batman. This is a tale where Bruce Wayne has only been the Batman for around 2 years or so. But speaking for this review and the story, this is going to be completely spoiler free. I don't want to ruin anything for you, so don't worry. This is a totally spoiler free review. We're not going to touch on anything that just wasn't discussed either in interviews or trailers of the sort. Now, this movie was directed by Matt Reeves, and the cast is woo. Yo, they got some big names. You got like Robert Pattinson as the Batman, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, Paul Dano as the Riddler, which to me, I didn't recognize his name, right? When I saw the movie, I was like, oh shit, because I recognize him as Eli from There Will Be Blood, which is one of my favorite films. So I didn't recognize the actor's name, but I was like, oh, it's him. That was a cool touch. You got Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, who the dude from Westworld. He kills it. That role was so fucking. He was so good in that, especially season 1. I never watched any of the later seasons, so I don't know if he's in that as well. But season 1, Westworld. Oh man. John Torturo as Carmine Falcone, Andy Serkis as Alfred. You have Colin Farrell as the Penguin. This is a top-notch cast right here, okay? And I'm going to say it right now, they fucking kill it. Okay, they fucking kill it. The acting's incredible. And if your biggest fear was that Robert Pattinson was going to somehow suck as the Batman, first off, breathe a sigh of relief because he was phenomenal. Then two, go watch some of the dude's other stuff, okay? He's not just the dude from Twilight. Go watch The Lost City of Z or The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe. That one's real good. So watch some of his other stuff. He's not just the dude from Twilight. I know that's what most people will recognize him from. But yes, the acting here is top notch, okay? You're truly immersed in this movie. And I want to give some extra praise to one of the most important things to me in any form of media that I consume, the setting. Holy shit. Gotham City feels like its own character in this movie. If you watch some of my previous videos, especially like when I discuss Arcane, or maybe even like when I was talking about the Wheel of Time a little bit, the first half of the Wheel of Time, you know how much of a sucker I am for a rich, detailed setting. You get this in this movie. They do an incredible job of setting a bleak, dreary, rap-sack world, like this atmosphere for Gotham. And whether it be an inner monologue from Batman or just some incredible shots of unfinished construction buildings or graffiti covered ruins, I legit was reminded of New York City back in the day. Now, as the name implies, I was born and raised in New York City, and I lived through some of the shitty days of NYC. Not the terrifying 70s like my parents, but the 80s and 90s were pretty fucking bad too. So when me and my wife were watching that movie, I just kept getting reminded of that. It just did this incredible job of portraying this dark, crime-riddled city where the little people are, they feel like they're getting milled and crushed every day. And a week that they don't get accosted by some hooligan or criminal is a good week. You know, this movie captures Gotham at its lowest, and it does it fucking amazing. Like I just kept getting scenes, because I grew up in Brooklyn. That's where I was born, and I just reminded me of when I was a kid. We would go to like Coney Island, and this was Coney Island back in the day, where before they filled up the boardwalk, because the boardwalk used to be up here, and there was the sand was like all the way down here, right? And the sands were strewn with just needles, garbage, fucking bodies sometimes dumped under the boardwalk, and that's what it fucking felt like when you're watching this movie. It just was incredible. And I want to talk about another bit that helps with the whole immersion thing, and that's the damn music. Michael, and I know I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. Oh man, I think it's Michael Giacchino. I think it's Giacchino, and I'm sorry if I killed it. I think it's Michael Giacchino, but he nails it. Especially the song they play from whenever Batman steps out from the shadows. Oh man, my phone has been the ringer. My ringtone for my phone has been "Toss a Coin to Your Witcher" since like 2019. No longer. I'm changing it. I'm changing it to that awesome tune. It's so menacing. It's so heavy. It reminds me of like the Imperial March, but also of The Undertaker. Obviously, it doesn't have like the gongs and whatnot, but it has that like that sense of dread in it, that when you hear this song, you know something bad is gonna happen. Well, bad for the criminals, bad for the wrestlers when The Undertaker came out, but like that the score in this movie is killer. It's probably like, I don't want to say it's the best Batman song ever, because it still doesn't top the 1989 Batman theme by Danny Elfman, but it's up there. It's fucking way up there. It's definitely up there. We're fucking battling. Now, the plot. Obviously, as I said, this is a no spoiler review. I can't touch too much on that. Only what we've seen from the trailers. The main villain here is the Riddler, and this isn't your campy goofball portrayal by Jim Carrey. This is a much more sinister, twisted serial killer a la John Doe from Seven, which I love it. I love it. It made the movie feel so much more grounded. And I will say this. This is the only, for me, the only movie where we got to see Batman living up to being the world's greatest detective. This isn't a slobber knocker superhero power blast bonanza like some, Marvel film or something like that. This feels like a detective drama, like a thriller. Like you're trying to piece together the clues to figure things out with Batman. Like you're trying to, okay, wait, was this there and that? Like that's what it feels like. And this is top notch. He has his gadgets. He has, Batman has his gadgets, but they never feel ridiculous. They never feel like they're in the realm of sci-fi. In fact, they feel very realistic. There is one or two things that he has. Again, I'm not going to say, but one gadget in particular that I was like, dude, I'm surprised either we do have that and they're just not telling us, or that's on the way. Really fucking good. So again, you should be able to tell right now that I'm really recommending this movie. I cannot gush about it enough. I've said before, I love the character of Batman. I really do. Now in terms of negatives, though, before I go too into, singing his praises there, because I've been singing his praises this whole review, deservedly so, in my opinion, but there are very, very few negatives. Very few. In fact, I can only think of right now off the top of my head, two. Just two. The biggest one was a obnoxious, stupid fucking line that Catwoman utters in the middle of the movie. Fuck that noise. Get that out of my Batman movie, please. That I actually ripped me out of the immersion of the movie, and I audibly groaned. Oh my God. Like, I actually groaned that when I heard that line. It was like, please, I don't want that in this. Don't. Get that shit out of here. Also, the runtime was a little long. I was never bored. but you do feel where it's like, man, this is a long fucking movie. Like they could have maybe shaved like 15, 20 minutes of it. Those small gripes. Small gripes. Again, as I said, I cannot recommend this movie enough. I love the character of Batman. I do. I have it downstairs. I have the 90s, because my favorite portrayal of him has always been the 90s animated version. I have the whole thing where they have all the DVDs of it in a little like box. So it's fucking cool. I love Batman. I love his character. It's his fan base that I generally hate. I should and specifically the rabid fanboys. Those are the ones I can't stand. The ones who act like Batman has to be like this omniscient being and you can never be being. I'm like, shut up. He's just a human being. That's the point. That's the point. That's the key thing. And this to me is the best portrayal of that. You're watching a Bruce Wayne who is still coming to grips with being Batman. He doesn't portray the duality of Bruce Wayne and Batman yet because he's still learning. He has been, after 20 years, he's been throwing himself into this training for so long to be the Spectre of Vengeance that the wound of losing his parents is still raw. He still can't shed Batman because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, in his mind, is that scared child who watched his parents die helplessly. He doesn't realize yet that he needs the duality. He needs to put the mask on, that there needs to be more than just the mask of Batman. It needs to be the mask of Bruce Wayne as well. This is you getting that. That's fucking awesome. It's a phenomenal story. It's the way Batman should be told, at least an early Batman, that's still growing into the role of Batman and kind of learning who Bruce Wayne should be. That's what I love about this movie. People really don't get that, is that they think, he should be Bruce Wayne. There's not enough to tell the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman. This is a guy who his parents were killed when he was young. How the hell is he going to know what he should have been like or how he should be like? He's never grown up in that manner. He didn't grow up as a billionaire playboy, obviously. He grew up as a vengeance-seeking, maniac, a lunatic who's out there beating the shit out of people, deservedly so. But so that's that he has to learn that, and this is what you're getting in this movie, especially towards the end of that. You are getting a character arc for him, and that's a really good thing. And I'm gonna say this right here, right now, and I know it's gonna get a lot of people mad at me. It will. So what? It needs to be said. This is easily, for me, the best Batman we've ever had. It just is. Christian Bale was awful as Batman. I fucking hated him as Batman. He was fine as Bruce Wayne. But as Batman, he was awful. He was awful. Michael Keaton was very good at both. He was very good at both. Previously, he was my favorite Batman. Ben Affleck, I think, did a decent Bruce Wayne as well. I really do. I think he did a decent Bruce Wayne. I think he was terrible as Batman, though. He was running people over with fucking cars. He was killing them, shooting people with guns. He was the fucking worst. But Robert Pattinson kills it. And like I said, there is a character growth arc in this movie for it, and he nails it. And I love that development within the movie. It's not just character development that we're going to see through the trilogy or however many movies we're going to get of this. It's character growth during the film, and that's just fucking clap for that shit. I think this is honestly my favorite Batman film. It is. Far more than the Dark Knight, which, again, I'm going to get hate for. But Batman fans hold that movie on some untouchable pedestal, and I truly think it's because of Heath Ledger's performance, and obviously his unfortunate passing, which, again, his performance was stellar as a Joker. Absolutely. But that movie itself was just good. It was just good. Other than Heath Ledger, you take it, the rest of it was meh. So it was not an excellent and definitely not a perfect film. So, again, because I don't like Christian Bale's Batman. I really don't like his Batman. So for me, this is an absolute watch. They fucking killed it. I said it multiple times. They've killed it. I'm going to hammer it. They've killed it. I legit want more. I want to see it again. I also want to own it. I want to watch it at home. In my opinion, this is the best Batman film there's been This is the best portrayal of the Batman there's been. The story that's being told here has so many layers to unravel. It deserves to be watched multiple times. And I caught myself, I'm sorry if I'm just heaping praises upon Robert Pattinson. It's not just him, it's everyone again in that cast. Huge ups to Zoe Kravitz for a very good Selena Kyle. She's wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer for me, but that's okay. That's that's a really hard goal to hit. And Zoe Kravitz did a really good job. And thank you, Zoe, for washing the filth that was Halle Berry's Catwoman out of my mind. You deserve applause just for that. Just for that alone. Paul Dano as the Riddler, I told you, go check out his portrayal in There Will Be Blood. He does this fucking Zodiac killer so well. He's just so fucking good. He's so talented. Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. You can see the chemistry that they have. Him and Batman, that Gordon realizes early on. Maybe he's the only really one on the force who realizes it, but he realizes that Gotham needs someone like Batman right now. The GCPD is not enough, and that the criminals who control the city aren't playing by the rules, and the good guys have to play outside the rules too. Everybody does an incredible job. Colin Farrell kills it as the Penguin. He fucking incredible. John Turturro's Carmine Falcone, who he is so sleazy. Like, it's just so good. It's such a good movie. I cannot recommend it enough. Go watch this movie. Finish watching this review, then go watch the movie. If you've enjoyed this review, though, please hit that subscribe button. Hit it now. Right now, if you haven't already. If you have hit it, don't hit it again because you're unsubscribe. Hit that like button. Share it. Let me know what you thought. If you've seen the movie, if you're anticipating the movie, let me know. You agree with me? Do you like Robert Pattinson as the Batman? What do you think of the music? I'm telling you, I love that theme. Please, I'd love to chat with all of you about this. As always, though, thank you for hanging out. Your time is important. Please take care of each other and stay safe.